word eugenics, meaning good birth in Greek. Given the primitive level of scientific understanding at the time, the idea of eugenics soon acquired widespread support. The Eugenics Education Society was established in 1907. Based at the Statistics Department of University College London. In 1926, the name was simplified and it became the Eugenics Society. The Eugenics Society maintained that all handicapped people in society should be sterilized. The society praised the members of the aristocracy and the royal family, but regarded the members of other races as an undeveloped species of animal. Charles Darwin's son, Leonard Darwin, was president of the organization between 1911 and 1928, and its most active member. After Great Britain, eugenics began to attract supporters in the United States. Evolutionist circles there carried out a great deal of propaganda on the subject in the 1920s and 30s. Certain states passed the laws known as sterilization laws. At that same time, parallel developments were taking place in Europe. Yet nobody at the time was aware that these developments would later turn into an unbelievable slaughter. Eugenics, the foundations of which were laid by pagan barbarian tribes, and which was later attempted to be spread and placed on an alleged scientific footing by Charles Darwin and his nephew Francis Galton, was actually a terrible crime against humanity. The sterilization laws passed in the USA in the 1920s as a result of a wide-ranging propaganda campaign are today regarded by the citizens of that same country as a shameful example of racism. What is more, it has now been proved that the theory of eugenics is a superstition, totally at variance with the scientific facts. The recent Human Genome Project has shown that the genetic differences between races and individuals are very small, and that it is baseless to even attempt to construct any reproduction policy based on them. Human races were created equal by God. In the Quran, God says, "Mankind, we created you from a male and female, and made you into peoples and tribes, so that you might come to know each other. The noblest among you in God's sight is that one of you who best performs his duty. God is all-knowing, all-aware." Quran 49:13. The weak and genetically sick must be treated with affection and compassion, protected and nurtured. But instead of this approach, revealed to us by God as a religious moral duty, the Western world at the beginning of the 20th century turned to eugenics, a product of paganism and the theory of evolution. The scale of the savagery that this pagan evolutionary theory led to will be revealed when we consider the case of Germany. In order to do this, we need to examine the men of ideas produced by Germany in recent times. Heading the list of those who laid the foundations of fascism is the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche's publisher, Peter Gast, called Nietzsche one of the fiercest anti-Christians and atheists. Nietzsche had a particular hatred of the ethical views of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. In his opinion, concepts such as love, compassion, and humility must be abandoned and replaced with a so-called master morality, which accepted the warlike and ruthless state of nature. In Thus Spake Zarathustra, he wrote, "Of all that is written, I love only what a man has written with his blood. Write with blood, and you will experience that blood is spirit." Nietzsche was also a racist. He maintained that one part of mankind was composed of Superman, and that the others had to serve and obey them. Nietzsche's racist ideas with their tendency towards violence bore a great similarity to those of another contemporary ideologue, Charles Darwin. In his book, Darwin's Dangerous Idea, Daniel C. Dennett describes Darwin's influence on Nietzsche in the following way. Friedrich Nietzsche saw an even more cosmic message in Darwin. If Nietzsche is the father of existentialism, then perhaps Darwin deserves the title of grandfather. Nietzsche, so deeply influenced by Darwinism, had a major influence on Nazi ideology with the racist ideas he held. Adolf Hitler had a monument erected in his memory and laid the foundations of an education center and library where German youth could be taught Nietzsche's doctrine of a master race. Nietzsche's life was no less dark than his philosophy. He suffered a mental illness at the age of 44, and that worsening disease led to his death from insanity. That deterrent fate recalls the fate of all those who have denied God down the ages. Do not let those who rush headlong into disbelief sadden you. They do not harm God in any way. God desires to assign no portion to them in the hereafter. They will have a terrible punishment. Those who sell belief for disbelief do not harm God in any way. They will have a painful punishment. Those who disbelieve should not imagine that the extra time we grant to them is good for them. We only allow them more time so they will increase in evildoing. They will have a humiliating punishment. After Friedrich Nietzsche, Germany's best-known Darwinist and most fanatical supporter of eugenics was the zoologist Ernst Haeckel. According to his unscientific theory, every creature relives the alleged process of evolution experienced by its ancestors as it develops in the mother's body. In order to support his theory, he made a number of drawings of embryos. However, it would be revealed in the years which followed that these drawings contained deliberate distortions and that his theory was nothing but a scientific forgery. Another instance of Haeckel's erroneous science is the theory of eugenics. He adopted the theory from such names as Charles Darwin, Francis Galton, and Leonard Darwin. and took it further by suggesting a return to the Spartan model of ancient Greece.